High above Bavaria, a castle rises like a dream built against the age that created it. White towers, black forests, and mountains wrapped in mist. But Neuschwanstein was not built to defend a kingdom. It was built for a king trying to escape the world that still called him king. King Ludwig II of Bavaria dreamed of a medieval world of knights, legends, sacred halls, and music, while Europe around him raced into steel, smoke, and industry. This is the paradox of Neuschwanstein, a castle designed to look beyond the modern age, yet built with the machines and materials of that same age. To understand why it was built, we must begin not with stone, but with a young king watching history move beyond his control. Ludwig became king in 1864, still very young, surrounded by expectations he could never fully control. He inherited a crown, but not the world he longed for. His imagination belonged to another century. As a child, Ludwig had grown near Neuschwanstein Castle, surrounded by murals of knights, swans, legends, and sacred quests. Those images did not remain decoration. They became the architecture of his mind. Then came Richard Wagner, operas filled with myth, longing, impossible love, sacred kingship, and worlds more powerful than politics. For Ludwig, Wagner's medieval sagas were not entertainment. They were a doorway into a life he believed should have existed. But outside his imagination, Bavaria was changing fast. The 19th century did not wait for enchanted kings. It moved through railways, factories, parliaments, armies, and nation-states. After political defeats and shrinking royal authority, Ludwig increasingly turned away from public life. He did not build Neuschwanstein to rule from it. He built it to withdraw into it. The site was chosen with theatrical precision, a high rock ledge above the Pöllat Gorge, facing mountains, forests, and Neuschwanstein, the castle of his childhood. Before the dream could rise, the mountain itself had to be altered. On September 5, 1869, the foundation stone was laid, not for a medieval fortress, but for a modern monument disguised as one. Ludwig imagined battlements, towers, and sacred rooms. The builders answered with cemented foundations, brick walls, limestone cladding, and industrial precision. This was not the Middle Ages reborn. It was medieval longing manufactured with 19th century tools. A road had to reach the mountain. Materials had to climb. The dream required logistics before it could become legend. Steam-powered lifting machinery helped raise stone toward a castle that pretended steam had no place in its world. Every stone carried the contradiction. The king rejected the modern world, yet depended on its machines. The first major completed section was the gateway building, where Ludwig could stay while the rest of his vision remained unfinished around him. Imagine the king arriving not at a finished palace, but at a dream still wrapped in timber, dust, and noise. For Ludwig, incompletion did not weaken the fantasy. It made the castle feel like a world still being summoned. The castle's form looked backward, Romanesque arches, towers, courtyards, and knightly halls that evoked an idealized Middle Ages. But inside, Ludwig demanded modern comfort hidden beneath medieval appearance. Running water, central heating, practical service systems, all concealed inside a castle pretending to be ancient. The kitchen was not a medieval fantasy. It was a working system of copper, heat, water, and efficiency. Even Ludwig's escape from reality needed plumbing. The greatest contradiction may be the throne hall, a sacred vision of kingship made possible by an encased modern steel structure. It was designed to glorify monarchy at the very moment monarchy was becoming politically smaller. A throne room without a throne, perhaps the perfect symbol of Ludwig's unfinished authority. Above all, Neuschwanstein was built as a theater of identity, not for crowds, not for government, but for one man's private mythology. Walls became stories, rooms became scenes, architecture became performance. The Singers' Hall drew inspiration from the Wartburg, the famous medieval castle Ludwig admired. But here it became something more dreamlike than practical. It was a hall for song, but not for ordinary festivals. It was built for an imagined chivalric world. Again and again, swans appear, symbols of purity, legend, and the knight Lohengrin who haunted Ludwig's imagination. To visitors today, the castle may look like a fairy tale. To Ludwig, it was closer to a sanctuary of identity. Yet his sanctuary was never complete. Scaffolds remained. Plans changed. Deadlines slipped. The more Ludwig wanted perfection, the further completion seemed to move away. A great keep and chapel were planned, but never built as originally imagined. The castle we know is only part of the castle he envisioned. Even in stone, Ludwig's dream remained unfinished, suspended between fantasy and reality. Inside the private rooms, the king surrounded himself with painted legends, carved wood, controlled light, and the silence of withdrawal. This was not an escape into simplicity. It was an escape into controlled beauty. Outside, the Alps gave Ludwig the stage he needed: distance, height, weather, and isolation. From this height, the modern world could be reduced to a rumor below the clouds. But distance did not erase the debts, disputes, and pressures closing in on Ludwig's life. The castles cost money, the visions multiplied, and the state around him grew less willing to accept a king who lived inside dreams. Neuschwanstein, then, becomes more than architecture. It becomes evidence of a private rebellion, a rebellion without armies, a retreat built as a fortress of imagination. In 1884, Ludwig's private rooms were finally ready, but the castle around them still remained unfinished. He would only live there for a short time, moving through a palace that still belonged more to the future than to him. In June 1886, Ludwig was declared unfit to rule and removed from power. Days later, his life ended under mysterious circumstances near Lake Starnberg. He died before Neuschwanstein could become the complete world he had imagined. Then came the final irony. The private refuge was opened to the public only weeks later. What Ludwig built to escape the world became one of the most recognized castles on Earth. Yet fame can flatten a place. It can turn a contradiction into a postcard. Look closer, and Neuschwanstein is not simply beautiful. It is unstable, impossible, and deeply human. It is the story of a king with power, yet not enough power to stop history from moving past him. It is the story of modern engineering dressed in medieval costume: brick, steel, water, heat, and machinery hidden behind romance. It is the story of a fantasy so expensive, so elaborate, and so personal that it survived the man who needed it. Ludwig wanted a medieval kingdom. What he created was something stranger, a 19th century machine for producing longing. The castle looks eternal, but it was born from a very human fear: the fear of becoming irrelevant. That is why Neuschwanstein still holds attention. It is not only a castle on a mountain. It is a question in stone. Can a building protect someone from history, or only preserve the evidence of their fear? Can beauty become a wall against the world outside? For Ludwig, the answer was yes, at least long enough to build towers, halls, and legends that outlived his reign. But the deeper truth remains hidden behind the fairy tale silhouette. Neuschwanstein was never simply a dream of the past. It was a monument to a man who could not bear the future. And that is why this castle still feels alive, because it was built not to protect a kingdom, but to shelter a soul from the modern world.